Hi Naptime friends, it's Tish with Naptime Creations. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be doing some red and gold geode inspired resin art. I'm going to be using this Suncatcher pigment powder by Res, Sassy Red epoxy pigment paste by Res, and this red Jubilee holographic glitter from Laura's Art Corner. Look at how gorgeous that is. It's just so beautiful. And I will link all the information below where I got these products if you guys want to get some too. So these are just two 11 by 14 acrylic pours that I had made previously. I wasn't too happy with how they turned out, so I thought, let's try to turn them into some fun resin art. So I just basically put a little bit of clear down. I had flipped over my cup that I mixed up my resin in, so there was just a little bit of clear that had came out onto the canvas. For this project, I mixed up 2 3-ounce cups of Suncatcher, 2 3-ounce cups of Sassy Red, and left 6 ounces of clear to the side. And I'm just going to go in with my gloved hand and smooth out the Suncatcher. So there's a nice even coat on the canvases here. And I just cut out adding, my pigment pastes and mixing up my resin and all that good stuff to save time. But if you want to see a video how I mix up my resin and my pigments, I will link that down below. Be sure to check that out if you're new to resin. So for my texture on these geodes, I'm going to be using this vase filler here. I picked it up off Amazon. It's really nice for adding texture, and it's not too expensive. I got this big 3-pound jug. I think it was like $9, so not too bad, and it's lasted me a really long time. If you want to check that out, I will link that down below as well. I love to do everything online just because I have little ones and it's not always easy to bring them to the store. Whenever I take them to Michael's, it's like, or any type of store, they always, want this and want that. So it's easier to just do everything online, I feel, until they get a little bit older. So I'm just going in and adding some lines of texture here. I was kind of just following the lines that were already on the acrylic pour, and I wanted to make them look kind of similar so they could be hung up next to each other on the wall. So if you put your resin, your clear coat of resin down, or if you want to do a color of resin, the crushed glass or the vase filler or whatever you're going to use for texture, stones, anything will stick to the resin. The resin's really kind of acts like a glue and will keep your texture in place. It's not going to move anywhere. Once that resin sets up, it's going to be stuck there forever. So I'm just going to keep adding my texture, and then we will move on and add the Sassy Red. And after I add my texture, I just kind of go in and push it down just to make sure that it's nice and stuck in place there. You could also use one of your popsicle sticks, your tongue depressor, or whatever you're using to stir up your resin, and push it down too if you don't want to use your hands, but I like to use my hands more than anything. So here's my Sassy Red, and I'm basically just going to cover the entire canvas up with the Sassy Red. And this color, you guys, it is so pretty. It's a nice, deep, opaque red. If you're looking for a really nice opaque red, definitely get the Sassy Red by Res. It's beautiful. So see, just go in and fill in all the areas around your texture that you added. And then you can take your hand and just smooth it out so it's nice and blended. And then you can push it up to your texture area. So that way, it's kind of flowing nicely on your canvas or your MDF or whatever substrate you're working on. And I'm just taking some of that clear that I had mentioned that I'd set aside as well and going over that base filler just to make sure that it's nice and resined so it's going to stay in place. I'm going to go in with my fingers and just make sure everything's nice and covered with the sassy red, the edges, the corners, just pushing that red right up to the vase filler, just so it looks nice and red all over. Now that everything's all blended, I'm going to go in with my heat gun on high heat just to pop any bubbles. Make sure you get the edges too, because there you can get bubbles on the edges as well. So now I'm ready for my glitter. You can see off to the side I added 4 nice scoops to, I would say, about 2 ounces of clear resin, and look at how pretty that Red Jubilee holographic glitter is. It's awesome. It's my favorite glitter. Red is one of my favorite colors to use. I know a lot of people don't like red. Let me know down in the comments if you like red or not. I know blue, a lot of people love blue. It's one of everyone's favorite. I love blue too, but red is my favorite. So I'm just gonna go in and add some lines of glitter. Just kind of seeing where I think I should have a little bit of the glitter, not too much, not going too crazy with the glitter, but just giving it a nice sparkle. I had mixed up 2 cups of the Red Jubilee holographic glitter. Say that 3 times fast. And I'm just going to go in and add a little bit more glitter, not too much more, and go around the circle areas down in the corner there, go around my vase filler, just give it a little bit of a sparkle. And you can add as much glitter to your clear resin as you want. It's up to you. Kind of think about sparkly nail polish. You know how much glitter's in that stuff, so that's about how much glitter you would want to add, but you can always add more or less. It's totally up to you how much glitter you want to add. Now I'm going to go in one more time with my heat gun on high heat just to pop any bubbles. I decided to go in with a little bit more of my vase filler right down here in the center area, just because the red kind of sunk underneath that filler that I had placed down earlier, and it was looking really red, and I wanted it to be more clear, if that makes sense. So I just added a little bit more, and I'm going to call this layer done. I'm going to put it in my dust-free zone, and we'll be back in 24 hours for the second stage of this piece. So here we are 24 hours later, and now in this little segment, I guess you could call it, I am just going to add some lines of sun catcher. And I didn't put a base coat down or anything like that. You can just mix up your resin like normal, and then add your pigment or glitter if you want to do glitter lines. And as long as you don't have a base coat of clear or any color of resin on your canvas, your lines won't spread out all over the place. They'll pretty much stay put where you lay them down. They'll spread out a little bit, but not too much. So that's all I'm going to do in this little segment, is just add some lines of sun catcher and kind of outline all of the crushed mirror vase filler sections with my sun catcher. Give them a nice little sparkle. So an easy way to do your lines is just kind of mix up, use your little stick, mix your resin a little bit and then drag it across your piece where you want your line to go. But start off of your canvas so that way you get kind of like a little nice line going, and then you can just drag it across. I don't recommend pouring straight from your cup when you're doing lines like this because it's hard to control how much comes out of the cup. It can turn into a really big line, a really big chunky line, and that might not be the look you're going for. Another thing you can do is get a syringe. You could probably get those off of Amazon and suck up some resin in a syringe and squirt it on that way too. I haven't tried that yet. I know it works. I've seen other people do it on YouTube, but this method works for me, so I just did it that way, this way for this video. And I'm just going in and picking up any of the sun catcher that may have dripped off and just adding it to the edges and the corners here. Going in with my heat gun on high heat to pop bubbles, and I'll let this cure and we'll be ready to add some lines. So I'm going to be using my Triton paint pens to add some white line work to these pieces. So these are really awesome because they're fine tipped and you can make your lines, whatever size you want. And you just have to pump it a few times like I was doing on the wax paper there. And then you're ready to go. See, they just draw really nice and easy. And you can get these paint pens off of Amazon. I will link them down below if you want to check them out. It comes in a pack with a ton of different colors. So with the lines too, another awesome thing is if you don't, let's say you draw a line and you're like, oh, I hate that one, I don't like how it turned out. You can take a Q-tip or a paper towel, dip it in some 91% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and it just wipes right off. So it's not set in stone, if you make your lines and you're like, oh, I'm not liking how that's turning out, you can always erase it and go back in and do something else. And make sure you get the edges to connect your lines down. And off camera, you can see on top of the sun catcher, I just went in with the red paint pen and drew a red line going on top of the sun catcher lines that I added. You see that red there? It's kind of subtle, but it's really pretty. So after I'm done doing my lines here, I'm just going to do a clear coat of resin. And I'm going to do that off camera just because I don't want to bore you guys with that. If you want to see how to do a clear coat, I will link a video below how to do that. I have one of those in my resin video playlist. And I'm also going to go around all the crushed mirror / face filler sections and do my lines there just to make them kind of pop a little bit more. So after I do my clear coat on top of my lines here, that's really going to seal them in and they're not going to move or go anywhere or get smudged. And I will show you guys what it looks like when I'm all done with that. But look at how sparkly that Red Jubilee holographic glitter is. I love it. So pretty. And I'll link Laura's information down below in the description too if you want to check her out. She has all kinds of fun stuff in her store. So here we are after I did my clear top coat. It's all nice and sparkly. I did go back in and make some of my white lines a little bit thicker. I did that off camera just so there was a little bit of a bolder white line just to give it a little bit more interest. But check it out, it's so pretty and sparkly. And you know what's really funny is when I was filming this, I had 2 hummingbirds come up and they were literally, I could reach out and touch them if I wanted to. They were attracted to the red of these pieces, and I actually got it on video. So if you want to see that video, go check out my Instagram. They were the cutest little hummingbirds. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been so close to a hummingbird in my whole life. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, was a fun experience, and I got it on camera too. So definitely go check out my Instagram and check that video out. So what do you guys think about these ones? Let me know down in the comments. You could hang them either way, you know, with the centers touching each other, or flip them around and do it the opposite way too. And check out the sun catcher lines that I added. See, they didn't spread out much at all. They just pretty much stayed exactly where I laid them down. And that was because there wasn't a base coat of resin on the piece for them to self-level and spread out on, which was nice. They stayed put. So you can definitely do that if you want to add some glitter lines to your art. Let me know what you guys think of these down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to get any of the products I use, everything will be linked below. Bye guys!